What's up, guys? And today I'm here with Pigskin Junkie, and we are doing a Colts video. And we're back, and we'll start off with the big thing. We're going to talk about Andrew Luck retiring. Now, what are your thoughts on that, Pigskin Junkie?
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of fantasy football people out there wondering exactly who they're going to start as quarterback. I mean, that's ridiculous. You got a 29-year-old man who plays in the NFL and just decides one day he's going to retire, especially 2 weeks before the season starts. Now, I got to tell you, I think this is totally ridiculous because, first of all, he's on my team. And I'm wondering about who the heck I'm going to be starting. You know, I have Jared Goff, and I also have Dak Prescott, which I believe is going to be probably a top 10 quarterback this year. In fantasy prospect Jared Goff, I believe, is going to be the top quarterback this year. So, I mean, I'm not looking too shabby. Just going to need a reset start whenever I have a bye week, you know, for a quarterback to come in and take their place.
And Andrew Luck said during his press conference that he was mentally wore out. But the game's mental and physical. You have to have mental strength and you have to have physical strength to be a good player in the NFL.
You're right about that, Ethan. I take a look at it. You know, it is a lot of stress sometimes, but I mean, that's just the game. You get paid a lot of money to go out there and do what you do. That's a job. I mean, everybody has a daily job. Your daily job is to go to school and do homework and play football at school. My job is to go to the pantry and do other stuff like that. That's my job. So everybody has a job that they got to do. You know,
Now we're going to get into a new subject. We're going to talk about the Indianapolis Colts' new quarterback, Jacoby Brissett. I want to hear your thoughts on him, Pigskin Junkie.
Well, I mean, really don't know how this guy's going to do. He was mentored by Tom Brady, who's a great quarterback. You know, they call him the GOAT, which he is the GOAT, but, I mean, do you really think this guy's going to come out and do something like the GOAT? No, I really don't. He went to NC State in Florida, been in the NFL for 4 years, but that doesn't make him a starter, you know what I mean? I mean, here's his career in college. His NFL statistics as of week 17, 2018. So TDs, he had 13 and 7 interceptions. Passing yards, had 3,500 passing yards. Completion percentage, 59.1. Passer rating, 81.6. Rushing yards, 336. And rushing touchdowns was 5. So, I mean, as of week 17, 2018, that's not too shabby. You know, that looks pretty good. His college years were 2011. He said when he played for Florida, had 18 completions, 39 attempts, 46.2 percentage, 206 yards, and then he had 13 attempts, 7 yards. Where's his TDs at? He had 2 TDs, 4 interceptions, and then 13 attempts rushing, 7 yards average, and 2 TDs on that. Now, he went to NC State back in 2014 and 15. Throws 2,600 yards, 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. 2015, throws 2,662 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So, I mean, to tell you the truth, I don't know. This kid could be good. He could be the MVP in 2022.
Yep. I think he's going to do good, but, he'll do good, but his team won't do that good. So I don't think they're going to do that good, but Brissett's going to do pretty good. He may get shipped onto a new team if he doesn't do that good, but...
Well, I got to tell you, I don't mean to cut you off, but the first thing they need is an offensive line. If they have an offensive line, like the Cowboys, you take for example. I mean, look at the quarterbacks that have gone through the Cowboys system. I mean, there have been some terrible quarterbacks, but they have an offensive line that can block for them fellas. And I mean, that's what you need is an offensive line. And if you have an offensive line, this kid could possibly be the next Aaron Rodgers.
Yep. I mean, they started building that line a couple years back with left tackle or right tackle Anthony Catanzaro. And then this past year, they drafted left guard who's phenomenal now, Quentin Nelson. So, yeah, I think they need a couple more pieces on that line, and he'll be a really good quarterback. About our season predictions for the Colts and Pigskin Junkie, you can go first.
Well, to tell you the truth, I really don't think the Colts are going to do that well this season. I mean, like I said before, talking about Brissett, he could be possibly a great quarterback, but if you don't have an offensive line, then you don't know what they're going to do. You know, he could have many sacks. And so let's start it off on their schedule. They play the LA Chargers September 8th. That's a loss in my book. You got Phillip Rivers who's thrown over 4,000 yards. This man does not back down, so that's 0-1. Then you come back and you're playing Marcus Mariota in Tennessee, September 15th. I'd consider that a loss. They're going to play Atlanta next. With Matt Ryan, you'd consider that a loss. Then you got Oakland with Antonio Brown, a new asset coming to Oakland. I think that's going to be a loss. So that's already a start 0-4. Then you come back Sunday, October 6th, playing against Kansas City. And you know about that one. So Patrick Mahomes will probably whoop that. That'd probably be, oh my goodness, a high score in the world record book. So that's 0-5. Then they have a week 6 bye. They come out and they play Houston after the bye with Deshaun Watson and his new team. Actually, not new team, but new assets to the team. So that's 0-6. Then you got Denver, possibly, could be a win. I mean, they're playing at home, and you got the new quarterback,
Drew Lock.
And
Joe Flacco.
And Joe Flacco. So you got Joe Flacco, their new quarterback over there. I mean, they possibly could beat the Colts. So I'll give them a loss. I'll give the Colts a loss on that one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0-7. Here comes Pittsburgh to town. November 3rd, 0-8. Miami, we know about Miami. So that's the Colts' first win on November 10th. I mean, that's several months away. November 10th is going to be their first win. So that's 1-8. Then you come and play Jacksonville. Look out. 1-9. Houston again with Deshaun. 1-10. Tennessee 1-11. Tampa Bay could be a quarterback change with Jameis Winston. Don't know how he'll do this season. I mean, he can start off good, but we know how he ends up at the end of the season. So possibly could be the second game the Colts win of the year. Finally, you have New Orleans, Carolina, and Jacksonville. And I make that 3 losses in a row. So eventually, their record this year, I predict 2-14. And that's pretty bad.
Pretty bad. Well, my predictions for the record, I think they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose 13 games, but they're gonna win the ones that I think they're gonna win. They're gonna win. So they're gonna win November 10th against Miami. I think they may pull it out December 1st against Tennessee, just maybe, depending on what's going on down there. And then I think they're going to win December 8th against Tampa Bay, and then just lose all the other games.
Well, that game against Tennessee, you got to look out. They got Henry back there.
Yep, Derrick Henry.
Alabama dude that can just bulldoze somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to see what goes on then.
Now let's talk about Jacoby Brissett stat predictions. You can go first.
Well, man, this is hard. Like I said earlier, kid threw, what was it, 3 or 4,000 yards in college, 20 touchdowns and like 6 interceptions, but he had an offensive line in college. Again, doesn't have that. So I predict him to go 2,800 passing yards, 300 yards rushing, and 18 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. And then for the rushing, I'll give him 2 touchdowns for rushing. So that's 20 touchdowns, 16 interceptions on the year.
And my Jacoby Brissett stats, I think he's going to have 3,000 passing yards, 14 passing touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 250 rushing yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns. I think he's going to have 7 fumbles.
Oh yeah, I need to put his fumbles in there. So we'll predict like 4 fumbles.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the future of the Indianapolis Colts, and by the future I mean the 2020 NFL Draft. And Pigskin Junkie, you can say who they're going to pick and where they're going to pick their prospect.
Well, like I said before, with a team going 2-14, that roughly puts them in the first pick of the 2020 draft. So I think they're really going to get to it. He's a great quarterback. He has a great arm that can make any throw required in the NFL. And after his heroic effort to win the 2017 season's national championship for Alabama, Tua was even better at it as a sophomore, completing 69% of his passes for 3,966 yards with 43 touchdowns. In 6 interceptions. So I think, they'll probably grab him. The kid's good, and he'll be a great prospect for Indianapolis.
And I think they're going to have the first pick at 3-13. And I do think they're going to take Tua Tagovailoa also. He's just a great quarterback prospect from Alabama, an amazing ball player. The Colts video, and remember, like and subscribe. And this is Ethan Belcher and Pigskin Junkie signing out.